Hey, I'm back again, back to my first spot. We're still in the middle of the chapter 3 yep, on page 28. Page 28. Jake and Mal were dropped off shortly after 8 o'clock. Winston's mother had already left for work. His dad worked at home in the summer. Soon he would go edit magazine articles, but right now he was cleaning up breakfast. Winston's little sister, Katie, was sitting on the sofa, her arms crossed in an exaggerated mope. Her school wasn't participating in the big contest. Perhaps her principal never figured out the code, or elementary schools weren't sent the code in the first place. Either way, she was ticked. She spent the morning trying to convince Winston to take her along. When that didn't work, she tried getting her parents to make Winston take her along. That didn't work either. Now she wasn't talking to him, and instead of being happy that it was the first day of summer vacation, she was acting like she was locked in a Siberian prison. "Hi, Katie," said Jake as he walked in. Katie said, crossing her arms tighter. Seeing that she was angry about something, Mal instinctively had to make things worse. "Katie, give me a hug!" He advanced toward her, his arms outstretched. Katie was shocked right out of her mood. "Ugh!" she said, leaping onto the back of the sofa and jumping off the other side. "Get away from me! Gross!" She ran up the stairs to her room, slamming her door as hard as she could. Winston's father poked his head in. "What was that?" he said. "Your daughter loves me," said Mal. "Oh." Nathan Breen. Nathan Breen was used to Mal. He went back to whatever he was doing in the kitchen without further comment. The wait continued, although at least now Winston had his friends with him. The three boys briefly considered playing their video game, but they were too restless. They paced around and tried to guess what might happen today. Winston told them about the oddball publicity stunts Dimitri Simon had pulled off in the past. "So it's impossible to say what we'll be asked to do," Winston said. "We should bring a bunch of random stuff with us. Maybe some of it will come in handy," said Jake. "Box of paper clips," said Mal. "A birthday cake. A scuba diving suit." I meant random stuff that's not completely crazy." Jake stared at Mal. "What's crazy about a scuba diving suit?" Mal wanted to know. "You'll apologize when we have to swim to the bottom of a river to get a clue." They bantered and bickered a while more. Winston wondered, not for the first time, if he should tell Mal and Jake how close they had come to getting kicked off the team. He'd gone back and forth on that over the last several days. Ultimately, he decided to keep his mouth shut. He only hoped Mr. Garvey would do likewise. But Winston could practically hear the teacher sighing and saying, "My smart kids would have known that," as they all faced a tough puzzle. Winston wished again that he had been able to choose the team's chaperone, and he supposed that Mr. Garvey still wished he could have chosen his team. Well, they'd all have to find a way to work together. Mr. Garvey pulled in at 8:25. The three boys and Winston's father filed onto the porch to meet him. "Ah, my team," said Mr. Garvey, smiling. There were hellos all around, and Mr. Garvey and Nathan Breen shook hands. The two men made a minute's worth of small talk. If Mr. Garvey was still upset, or at Winston's insistence, or including Mal and Jake, he kept it well hidden. "Shotgun!" Mal called, so he took the passenger seat while Winston and Jake got in back. There was a small cargo area behind them holding a baby seat. It was always strange to be reminded that teachers had families of their own. There was a couple of grocery bags containing snacks and a small cooler. "What's with the food?" asked Jake as Mr. Garvey got in. "Ah, that's called thinking ahead. I'm guessing this is going to be an all-day affair, so I've loaded up on supplies. If we don't have to stop for food, we'll have that much more of an edge on the competition." "Do you have a porta potty back there, too?" Mal asked. Mr. Garvey gave Mal a sideways look. "Well, we might take a little break now and again if need be. Here," he said, handing Mal a piece of paper. You just volunteered to be the team navigator. I did? Oh, I did. He took the paper, unfolded it. It was a map. Okay, step 1. Leave the driveway. Mr. Garvey did as told. As they drove along, Mr. Garvey said, "Now let me explain a few things about how it's going to work." Winston didn't like the sound of that already. The teacher continued, "I know you think summer vacation has started. Well, as far as I'm concerned, however, today is a school day. It's a field trip, and I'm in charge. All right?" "All right," said Winston. He and Jake shared a bemused look. "I told Winston a couple days ago, and I'll tell you right now, we're here to win. If you boys stay serious and focused, and if you listen to me and do what I say, we will win." Mr. Garvey drummed his fingers on the steering wheel. "I hope we have fun, don't get me wrong, but our first priority is not fun. Now, what did I just say?" Mal said with a tone of disbelief. "We're not to have fun today?" "Well, you could have fun," Mr. Garvey corrected. "Of course you can have fun, but it's not the main reason we're here. We're here to get the puzzle solved. We're here to do it quickly and efficiently. That is what we are here to do." As pep talks went, this one was more alarming than inspiring. Sure, Winston wanted to win, but he was troubled by Mr. Garvey's fervor, and he was sure Mal and Jake were too. Mr. Garvey seemed to sense that. "Jake, I'm sure your baseball coach says something like that before every game, right?" "Well, something like that," Jake said. He made a face at Winston that said, "Not even close." The math teacher wanted to close the subject. "All right, let's warm up our brains. Winston, do you have any puzzles for us?" Winston looked around. They were coming up to a red light near a small row of stores. He studied the stores for a few moments and said, "You see that store where you can buy kitchen stuff?" "Yeah," Jake said. "You might go there if you want to buy a plate." "Okay," Winston continued. "You can add a letter to the word plate and scramble up the letters, and you'll wind up with something you can buy at the art store right next door. Then you can add a letter to that word, scramble the letters together, and get something you can buy in the office supply store. Add a letter, scramble, and you'll get something you can buy in the garden store. Can you get them all?" "Holy moly," said Mal, "not before that light turns green." So in your booklet, you see the stores. You're going to buy a plate here. When you go to the art store, you're going to buy something else. You're going to add one more letter to the letters in plate. Mix them up again, make an anagram with those letters. Find something in an art supply store. Going to add another letter to buy something at the office supply store, and one more letter to get your last thing at the garden center. Good luck. I think you could do this one.